Hello everyone, welcome to another video review. Today I'm taking a look at LEGO Ninjago set number 71702, Golden Mech, from the second season of Ninjago, all the way back in 2013. Gosh, has it already been that long? Man, I'm old. Anyway, before we take a look at the toy itself, let's take a look at the box. So here we have our Ninjago Legacy box. As you can see right there, it says Legacy. Here is the Golden Mech in all of its more white than gold mechiness. You know, you can see all the things that is included with the set. You can see the minifigures it comes with, as you can see, featured in Season 2. Over here it says for ages 8 and up. Of course, that's just a suggestion. They have to put that on there. 71702. It's the Golden Mech. It's 489 pieces. It's a building toy in several different languages. And, like any box, it has a back. So, you know, it's the back of the box. You know, it does all the things the back of the box is supposed to do. It tells you about the set. Also, it shows you some of the scenes that the Golden Mech appeared in Season 2 of the show. And more of what is included with the set. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. So here we have the Golden Mech, the mech that originally belonged to the first Spinjitzu master before being left in the Temple of Light for the Golden Ninja Lloyd to later claim. So yeah, it's image of the original Golden Mech is appearing right here on screen, and as you can see, this is quite the upgrade. This is quite the upgrade we've got here. The original Mech also, it was not a standalone set. It came in another set. It was the Temple of Light set, so you had a structure to go with it as well, which is why there wasn't as many pieces devoted to the mech itself originally. But this is man, is this an upgrade. So yeah, before we take a look at the mech, we will go ahead and take a quick look at the minifigures. Here we have Wu in his Legacy outfit. This is just the outfit that he comes dressed with in every Legacy set. So it's his father's robes. And yeah, it's Wu. Now, there is one interesting note about Wu this time around is his staff. The staff is actually not the regular brown that Wu's have come with in the past. This is actually more of a, more of a dirty tan color. It's a little closer in shade to the color of the staff that he uses in the show, which is not an actual Lego piece in the show. It actually looks like a piece of bamboo. So this is a little closer in color to the piece of bamboo that he uses in the show as his staff. So yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool they did that. I appreciate that. Although for the toy, I am just kind of accustomed, maybe it's just because I'm accustomed to it, but I do kind of prefer the solid brown that Wu's used for years. So there is Wu. Now moving on, we have some Stone Army guys here. Here we have this little Stone Army Scout. He's got a pretty mean looking face under there. He's got a little thing of arrows. Now, of course, this is something I am going to complain about the Stone Army guys, but this is a complaint that shouldn't really be levied against the set. It should be levied against the original Final Battle Wave from 2013. I've never looked at these guys and thought, oh, they're made of stone. Now, of course, they're animated. Yeah, I mean, they kind of looked like, yeah, because the idea here, obviously, to me anyway, is that these are supposed to, the idea of these stone warriors coming to life, they're supposed to look like terracotta warriors, right? I mean, that would kind of make sense. But, nothing about them really says that they're made of stone. Yeah, dark magic, they've been reanimated, but they're called the Stone Army, and they don't really look like stone. So it's like I've always had that complaint about these guys, and I'm still going to complain about it now. But it's not a problem with the set because that's just the design they chose way back when. In terms of representing what these guys looked like in the show, what they looked like originally, these do a really good job of that. And speaking of, here we have General Kozu, who I was not really aware was in this set. It kind of surprised me until I actually went to pick up the set, and then there he was on the side, and it said General Kozu along the top. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't realize that this was actually General Kozu. I just kind of because when I looked at the reveal of the set online, I didn't look at the minifigure list. I'm like, nope, okay, it comes with Lloyd and Wu, and it looks like 2 Stone Warriors. And then I kind of glanced over it after that. So I was not, I did not look too closely other than that, and so I was a little surprised that General Kozu is in this set. So yeah, it's General Kozu. He looks pretty good. You can remove his helmet here, and he looks very upset. Looks very angry. And again, the design is cool. It just doesn't say, you know, this is someone from an army made of stone to me. So he's got his 4 arms. NinjaGo really likes their 4-armed villains. And then he comes with one of the elemental blades. I'm not sure which, honestly. This could either be the elemental blade for ice or lightning. Maybe because it's a little lighter blue, that means that it's the one for ice. The set doesn't really make it clear which one's supposed to be. You know, there's nothing on the box. I don't think anyway. Hold on, sorry, we're going back to the box. All right, let's see here. No, there's nothing on the box here that would specify which elemental blade that is. I mean, obviously it's not fire or earth, but could be ice, could be lightning. I don't know. So we'll just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the description of the set on Lego.com or something will say, you know, which one of these it is. But anyway, yeah, it's cool that you get one of those elemental blades in the set. Considering the original version of the set, I think also came with the elemental blades, considering it was the Temple of Light, and that's where they came from. And yeah, I always just find it funny whenever the elemental blades come up, because it's like, oh yeah, remember those things that were around for like 4 episodes and then just disappeared completely and were never mentioned again? One of the like the arrow blades, like the time blades, like the fang blades. Fang blades, you know, those going away made sense. They served their purpose in the story. The others are kind of like, why did they get rid of these things? In a couple cases. So I mean, but I mean, hey, it's a TV show based off of a toy line. You gotta move on and introduce the new stuff and stop focusing on the old stuff. Honestly, air jitsu being just kind of dropped is the one that's really just kind of a question mark. It's like, how many situations are a ninja in the show where air jitsu would have come in handy and they just don't use it? So anyway, enough about that. So here is Golden Ninja Lloyd, and man, does this minifigure look way better than his original counterpart. I think this looks really cool. I really like the come on, focus, there you go. I really like the different colors and how they work with one another. So yeah, looks really cool. He is the only figure here that has a double-sided face, so he's kind of got this one where he just looks kind of unhappy, and then he's got this one where he's going all ultimate, I can't do that, where he's going all ultimate power. I'm about to smash the Overlord. I am the Golden Ninja mode. So it's not exactly accurate to the original version, but that's kind of, you know, a given, because, you know, these are kind of redesigns. It's like, what would these minifigures maybe look like today if these original sets were made today? So yeah, so that is it for the minifigures. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the mech itself, and boy, oh boy, is this thing impressive. I think this thing is actually really, really super cool. So I mean, it is your typical humanoid looking mech in that way. It's not too impressive, but honestly, it doesn't, when you're just kind of looking at it, I mean, I don't think the box does this thing justice at all, because it kind of looks like, oh, yep, it's just another mech. But when you actually have this thing in your hand and you're holding it, it's very impressive. There's heft to this guy. This guy weighs a bit. This is a very, 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 very solid build. And I don't mean that in the way that this is a good build. It is a good build, but in more than it's just a good build, it's a solid build. This guy is chunky. This, you know, I mean, just look at them legs. This mech did not skip leg day. This is a very thick mech. Yeah, it's. I mean, just look at the. Hold on, let me raise the arm. Just look at this. That is a solid build. This is not coming apart. I feel like I could throw this against the wall and it would not break. Now, am I going to throw it against the wall? No, I'm not going to throw it against the wall. But could I? I feel like I could, and very few pieces would pop off. So So I really like that about this, is that when you hold it, it has some weight to it. It doesn't feel flimsy. It feels like, you know, it doesn't. Take this as you will. Not meant to be derogatory towards the company, obviously, but it doesn't feel like a Lego set. You know what I mean? Is that sometimes when you pick up a Lego set, you can feel how certain sections of it might be fragile because it is a bunch of bricks held together just kind of by physics. But this set does not feel like that. This almost feels like a transformer where it feels very secure. It feels very put together. I mean, you know, this feels like it's one big hunk of plastic instead of a whole bunch of tiny intricate pieces of plastic all clicked into place with one another to make this big mech. And I think that's really cool. So I don't usually go over this whenever I do toy reviews for a couple different reasons, just because I don't think it matters all that much, and in the process of showing it off, I kind of go over it anyway without it ever really needing to be purposefully brought up. But let's go ahead and talk about the articulation, because this thing has some great articulation. Starters, you can bring the legs back about yay far. You can bring them forward, not as much. They don't come as forward as much. But then the arms are really the things that I like a lot. Is that, you know, that if you move these things out of the way, then you can get the arms to do a whole 360 here. And then you have an elbow joint and everything. You have your opposable fingers. The one difference I wish that they did make is that instead of these little pieces here, if they just given you another one of these. I had what I thought was one left over. I was just kind of tempted to replace that one, but that piece ended up being used back here to hold the flag. So, but you can there's a lot of different posability options with this thing, which is awesome. And then the sword can go in either hand because you've got that whole thing in there, so you can have the mech holding his sword in either hand, which is cool. So, you know, you can get this thing in some pretty cool poses. There we go. So there's one, kind of a battle ready stance. Almost sort of kind of the inverse of what the box is doing, but yeah, I mean, it's, as you can see, very posable. The weight distribution is very good. I mean, he's really only standing on one leg. The other leg is just sort of kind of resting on the ground. It's completely balanced. It's not falling over. So, I mean, it's just a super solid build that looks really good and is supported very well by that. So let's go ahead and remove the sword here. The sword, pretty easy to handle. It just slides in and slides back out. So it does kind of, maybe depending on how your fingers are positioned, your fingers, you know what I mean, the fingers on the mech. Depending on how the fingers on the mech are positioned, it might feel a little loose in the hand, but you can just solve that by closing the fingers a little bit more. So the sword, very nice. He says as he drops it, very nice. It's a very nice sword. It's a simplistic build, but it really serves its purpose as being a sword. So we'll just switch hands here just to show that we can. So that's actually a little closer to what's in the box. And then you also have these little thingies here on the back. And these can be positioned pretty much however the heck you want these things to be positioned, because of the glory that is mixel joints. So yeah, you can have them pointed down. It almost kind of looks like a cape or something like that. You know, you can have them more pointed directly outward. You can have them a little more up, like I have them, because that's kind of how the box shows them off. You could even have them positioned a little bit more like that and have them be some really big shoulder pads or something like that, almost like samurai armor or something. So yeah, and then you have this flag here on the staff. There's a little more limited range. You can move it back a little bit. You can move forward a little bit. For the most part, you're not going to get too much range out of that. But yeah, you've got a lot of different posability options. All these different positions you can put the kind of decorations in. Overall, it's a very cool mech that has a lot of great features for, you know, kind of customizing the way you want it to look on your shelf. My one complaint with this thing is that it doesn't have a thing for you to store the sword on its back. Because, you know, like, say... All right, give that here. Good boy. You know, say you just want the mech standing at attention. Like so. Oh, here it is. It's just kind of standing ready at attention. If you don't want it to have its sword because it's standing at attention, you either have... Well, I mean, there's not an option. You just have to have it off to the side. Or if you want him holding the sword, then he can hold the sword. But if you don't want him holding his sword or its sword, I keep calling the mech a he when it's just a big suit of armor. But if you don't want the mech holding the suit, if you don't want the mech holding the sword, I just realized what I did there. I apologize. If you don't want the mech holding the sword, then he's just not holding the sword. It's just going to be off to the side. I really wish that, and there's room for you to put a custom thing on here, which I'm sort of maybe considering doing. But there's room back here where they could have put something for the sword to be clipped on this way, or you know, something like that. Because if there's a 2x1 and then it's got one of those little if it's got one of those little tiles on there that has I find that it's difficult to describe Lego pieces, but if there's a piece that you know, there's that tile piece that has the little circle that you can, you know, like click I'm doing an awful job of this, but and then you have the little square grippers. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Then you could click this into that square gripper, and then you would have this kind of sheath on the back, and you could position it however you wanted, and it could be angled. It's like, I hope that came across correctly. Oh, it's so hard to describe what Lego pieces look like. It's like, yeah, it's the square thing. It's like, oh, hold on, here we go. Smaller versions of these. You don't even need a 2x1 brick. Hold on, let me just peel this off. Yeah, so just one of these. You just need one of these right here, and then another, and then you know, one of those, like, you know, like I said, the little square grippers. You know, I think maybe it's a hinge or something. Yeah, it looks like this. It looks like a claw. You know, just need one. You just needed one more of these Lego, and then one of those, and then you could just click. And then it would just click, and then it would just click on into place, and you could store the sword there. Yeah, so that's my one complaint with the set. It's not really an actual complaint. It's just kind of a little. It's like, I wish you'd done this, but it's not a huge deal. This thing is cool enough as it is. You know, it doesn't actually harm the function of the set. It's like, that would have been nice if you had done that. So yeah, so that is the Golden Mech. This thing is awesome. This thing is really awesome. I love this thing so much. This is a big recommend. This is a big old recommend from me. If you are nostalgic for early Ninjago, kind of like I am. It's weird to say, but I was a teenager when Ninjago started. That's totally. I mean, I was 13, so I was a young teenager, but a teenager nonetheless. But I was 13 when Ninjago started, so I kind of look back at that time when early Ninjago was going on, and I'm like, man, it's been a long time. I'm kind of nostalgic for that time a bit. And so I saw this, and I was like, you know what? I remember the final battle. I remember season 2. It's definitely not my favorite season. If you've seen my season ranking video for Ninjago, you know it's kind of lower on the list. But it's like, I don't know, I'm still kind of nostalgic for that time period, back when Cartoon Network actually aired the show in a timely manner and actually advertised it. You know, that's how old I am. I remember when Cartoon Network used to do that. So I thought I'd pick it up. It's $40. It's not super expensive. It's got a good price per part ratio. 489 pieces for just $40. That's not bad. It is a solid, like I said, it's a solid build. Really good, really good set. This is, I mean, I didn't get the Fire Mech from the movie. To a lot of people, it seems like that's the all-time best Ninjago mech. And looking at the build and the design and everything, it may be. But you know, I don't have experience with that. But so right now, I'm going to say that this is my favorite mech. You know, this is my favorite mech that the theme has delivered, because this thing is just solid all around. So yeah, so that'll pretty much be it. I'm having trouble speaking right now. Maybe because I just, I've boggled my mind trying to figure out how to explain the design of Lego pieces. Anyway, that'll be it for this review. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment. I still want to say subscribe, but you can't. No. It's, you can like, you can subscribe. You can't comment because by the definition of how the rules on YouTube work, this is technically a video made for kids, so you can't have a comment section. Oh well. So, but you can follow me on my social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this review. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.